With the upcoming update 2.0, we're getting one of the biggest scenery changes we have seen in Wuthering Waves so far. In this video, I want to talk about my biggest highlights for this new area and what I'm looking forward to the most. Of course, the new characters that have already been announced are building up the hype strong enough, but don't forget, we're talking about basically a new continent here. And this new area might even be bigger than the first one we have explored in 1.0. So let's jump into the highlights that I look forward to. A huge map to explore. We're talking about hundreds of chests, maybe even new hologram fights, and a bunch of new echoes to collect. New traveling mechanics that are probably gonna be unique to the zone. I think this might be even the biggest highlight for me, because traveling in the game and exploring in the open world is just the most fun thing to do. I'm also super excited for new gameplay features that are likely unique to the new zone. Maybe something like the jump pads that we got in 1.1 or the snowboarding in 1.1. Maybe new echoes to travel around, like the Infernal Rider, or maybe even an echo to travel on top of water. One thing that I noticed in the trailer is that there was no ships or boats to see. So I wonder how these people are actually traveling around. Don't tell me you're gonna jump into this bathtub that looks like a cat and your bathtub is gonna be your boat or something like that. I mean, that would be kind of funny, to be honest. I'm also excited for new puzzle mechanics. Honestly, I'm not a fan of puzzles in games in general, but in Wuthering Waves, they don't really take up much time. It feels like this game just values the time that you have. Let's be real, if you're a grown-up, your time is pretty limited for games. So I do appreciate that I'm not stuck like for half an hour to find out how a puzzle works. So I cannot wait what they actually have in the pipelines for this new zone, in terms of exploring and the new area. I've just been wishing for a new city already, because the past cities were not really for me. And this new city just gives me huge Assassin's Creed 2 vibes, and that's one of my favorite games that I've played. I'm also excited for this new style. It's quite a scenery change. I call this point less depression. Coming from the 1.0, 1.1, 1.3 zones, which these zones are very beautiful, but they definitely look quite bland in some areas. They kinda lack color. So seeing this new city, this new zone, a lot of water, and a walking bathtub definitely looks super refreshing to me. The vibe is just way more uplifting. And do I even need to mention the new characters? Like, we finally know what colors are in the game. While it might be not for everybody, I do appreciate it if every zone has something unique to offer. I strongly also believe that this place, while it might look happy, Kuro Games will still manage to turn this around and make this somehow into a sad story. Next up is permanent modes. I think Kuro Games already knows that we are in need of new permanent modes. While we do have quite good ones, especially with the Elusive Realm, which is one of the most fun game modes I've seen in any gacha game, I think a lot of players would still wish for like 1 to 3 more modes that we can play. Into the surveys, I write down a dungeon with a big boss at the end and you can play it in co-op. Maybe an infinite wave mode, where you defeat wave after wave and it gets harder. Or how about a boss rush mode? I mean, we kinda had this already, but sadly it's not a permanent mode. And I'm pretty sure that there's something new coming up that Kuro Games has planned for 2.0. And since talking about modes, I also think that we're gonna see new hologram boss fights, which is one of my favorite things in the game. These challenging boss fights are just super fun. There's no rush to do them, and if you're up for the challenge, it's just one of the best things the game has to offer. But I also believe that they should do something about holograms, because if you cleared them all, then they are just sitting there and you never touch them again. So maybe they should give us like a hologram stage that resets every 2 weeks or something like that. That would be my idea. I'm also super excited for the new story. I'm not really a story guy, I'm very casual about that. In the 1.0 quests, I especially skipped some parts, didn't really hook me. But in 1.1, they definitely have proved to me that this type of storytelling is quite engaging and doesn't even take that long compared to other games. It's super entertaining. All the camera angles and animation they do, just during dialogues alone, it's just super fun to watch, and I barely get bored. And since the voice acting is also improving with each update, especially Rover improved again in 1.4, I cannot wait to see what they cooked up in 2.0. I feel like we get some more peak storytelling coming. And talking about story, I cannot forget about the companion quests. In my opinion, the companion quests are one of the best parts about the game. These little side stories feel like little movies that you kind of watch. I really love the Encore companion quest, for example. The way how they told the story, it had so much emotion, so many beautiful sceneries. I couldn't stop myself from taking a lot of pictures. Or with the newest one, in Camellia's companion quest, the music, the scenery, the vibe, it was so unsettling and perfect. It felt like the perfect companion quest for Camellia. I also love these small things they sometimes do. Because if you heard the song in the companion quest that keeps going through the whole companion quest, so many different versions in this one, let me just show you a few.
Let him cook! Let him cook now! Let him cook! I said let him cook!
They freaking cooked with this because there's like at least 4 different versions of this, and the melody is good, and it's even in one of her idols and she's humming it. That's freaking peak. I don't know who let them cook, but please cook more. I love these little details that Kuro games sometimes do, because these little things are so cool and have so much value. These were pretty much my biggest highlights, but I have some small points as well. I'm excited for skins. I really hope we're gonna see our first skins in the game. Maybe we're gonna get a collaboration announcement soon. I kinda doubt that, but it would be kinda hype, especially since PGR is getting a Devil May Cry collab. Also excited to see if we get more information about Frolova or Gasholin even. Maybe these two even gonna be playable one day. They have been improving a lot with the music too. The Elusive Realm music are bangers, and the Companion Quest music from Camellia is living rent-free in my head. I cannot stop listening to it. Or the Shopkeeper piano song. Also still stuck in my head. So memorable. I really hope they're gonna do more like that. Another bonus thing is co-op content. I hope we're gonna see more of it. They have already been doing it with events. And who knows, maybe they're gonna try something more permanent next. And I'm super excited for all the characters. They look incredible. It's just another step up from Kuro games and their character design. These characters look so freaking good. While I do love the old designs as well, these new characters have definitely a bit more personality. You can kinda tell how their personality is gonna be just by looking at the pictures. And these were pretty much my highlights. It's just crazy how Kuro Games keeps improving the game. And it's not even 8 months later and they already give us a new continent. It's just very crazy to me. You can feel all the effort and passion that these developers put in every update. And it's been so much fun making videos for Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves. These developers have something quite big in their hands. And I have big trust in them. If somebody can do it, they will. Now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments, what are your biggest highlights in the upcoming zone? What are you looking forward to the most? Is your number 1 character also Zani? Let me know in the comments. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, give this a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I see you in the next one.